accent, nobody understands me anyway, so wherever I live it doesn't make much difference. But coming from Australia to America has been really quite easy from a few perspectives. One is that living in Los Angeles is not unlike living in Sydney, except a little bit bigger.
No kangaroos.
No kangaroos. No dead kangaroos on the side of the road. They do some damage to your cars as well. But I've been fortunate in the sense that I coached in the US before, and having coached the Australian national team for many years, we played against the US a number of times. Never ever beat them right enough, but played against them a lot. And I've also been very fortunate that coming straight into the job, we've had the team together 2 or 3 times, so I've got to know the players really well and been able to settle in. So it's been really quite seamless.
Good. Well, we welcome you. We're excited to have you. So, how did you feel about the overall play of the women's team at the Algarve Cup?
Well, it's good. I mean, it's always good to win tournaments, as we all know. We play football to have fun with soccer, but we also play, particularly at national team level, to win tournaments. So that was a positive. When I was a younger coach, there are some things to work on. We managed to play everybody and we changed the team around quite a bit between games and still get good results. So that was another positive. But there are some things to work on, and when I used to be a younger coach, I used to worry about that, but it's good now to know that not everything is perfect, and we've got some things that we still need to do.
So congratulations on that win, by the way. And I think it's nice to know that even at the highest level, people can still find things to work on, and there's always room for improvement.
Yes, players are always players.
So you've given some first-time experience on the national level for some of the younger players. How have they handled that?
Terrific. It could sometimes, particularly coming into the US national women's team, is quite a daunting experience for young players, because when when the young players see Abby Wambach, rather than play with her, they want to ask her for an autograph, and so it can be quite difficult. But the senior players were terrific with the young players that we brought in, and one of my tasks here is to put more competition within the squad and give more opportunities to players. And over the last, the Algarve Cup and a couple of games against Scotland, we managed to give, I think, 4 or 5 players the first cap, and they all did very well.
Oh, good. That's great. So what are some of your goals for the upcoming year, and even looking forward to the 2015 World Cup?
Yeah, well, I think the US Soccer Federation made it very plain when they hired me that we have to win the 2015 World Cup.
No pressure.
There's no pressure. I think, the World Cup's 2 years away, but it's amazing how quickly it comes round. As a coach, you think you've got a lot of time, and then all of a sudden you're walking out for the first game in the tournament. The key thing really is to get your team together as often. The most important thing is getting your team out on the soccer field and working with them. That's the most important thing. Within that, over the next 2 years, is to look at the competition, keep up to pace with what's happening in the women's game, because it's changing very, very quickly. A lot of countries are putting a great deal of investment into it, so competition is much, much tougher than it used to be. And continue to try to unearth new talents and give them opportunities.
Great. So if you had any advice to give to these young ladies, maybe at this tournament or in their future careers, what would you tell them?
The first thing I don't say, and coaches say this all the time, I'm always wary when I speak to players, because they tend to come back, and particularly female players always remember what I say. And it's a bit like my wife.
We don't do that.
It's a bit like my wife, actually. And they remember the bits that kind of suit them. So I think there's a few key things. I think when I go out to scout or look at players, there are 3 broad things that I look for. One is the technical skills of the player, and that's becoming more and more important in women's soccer as the game becomes more sophisticated. The second thing are physical qualities. Reality is, like most sports these days, they're becoming quicker, athletes are becoming stronger, the games are becoming, tougher. And the third area is what I call different words for this, but I call it a game awareness. And that is the ability to actually play the game and understand the game and see the game. And you can see that when you watch really, really good players. And if you look at really good players, they tend to see things earlier than other players. And that game quality is what we look for as well. So in amongst that, and I speak particularly to young players, again, I think I can only remember 3 things, so that's why I keep it 3. That's at best. And 3 P's, I think of 3 P's, because that way I remember as well. Hopefully I will remember. One is preparation, and that covers a whole range of things. So it's not just about working hard. Preparation is about, how well you eat, how well you rest, which is really, really important, and how you train. So it's not just about working hard, it's about the quality of how you train. So when you go onto a soccer field, or onto the training field, it's about how you practice. Not about practicing for 2 hours as opposed to 1 hour or whatever, but actually the quality is really important. The second thing is performance. I think for young players as well, is that you want to try and perform to your best every time you walk out on a soccer field. And to do that, you really need to feel confident in your own ability. And for young players and even senior players, that can be difficult because players do lack confidence at times. But it's really important to have a trust in your game and to go out there and to try and perform as well as you can whenever you get a chance to play the game. And that's about enjoyment as well. So don't go out there feeling that the weight of the world is upon your shoulders. And the third thing is persistence. I've seen many, many players, male and female players, of lesser ability have really successful careers ahead of players who had much more ability. And it's because they've just kept plugging away and taking their opportunities. The reality in soccer, like most things in life, it doesn't all go smoothly. So it's really important that you keep persisting. And if you do that, it's amazing how successful you can be.
Some good advice. You guys taking notes?
Yeah, asleep yet?
No.
Asleep now.
So, I'm going to have to get serious with you now.
Okay.
Our one real serious question of the evening. I hate to do this, but if you had to choose One Direction or Justin Bieber?
Justin!
You've got to get the terminology right. It's 1D.
I have Bieber fever, so.
I'm a strictly 1D fan. Sorry, Justin. And that's because I've got a 15-year-old niece who would kill me if I said anything else. So it's 1D for me.
Oh, good. We'll have to agree to disagree. So, well, thank you so much. We really appreciate having you here.
Good luck in the tournament. Enjoy the games ahead.
Thank you.
Well, not to close the openings. It's not over.